concurring with the Florida Gators.
Okay. I was just checking to see if you were listening.
From Cheyenne, Louisiana. Hold on a second. Hey, guys! Hey! I'm having a press conference, okay? Thank you.
Momentum, excitement, energy. They say all this stuff, and you know what they mean, but it doesn't describe what you mean. It's just sort of out there.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
I was just worried about, listening to, all your guys' rap poison.
Welcome to Sideline Judgment. Here are your hosts, Sergio and Tyler.
Welcome to Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And today, Tyler, it is the beginning of season 9 of our beloved Sideline Judgment podcast. Welcome back.
Good to be back. They said we were down. They said that we were over, but we were not. We were just taking a break.
In their respect, we were down.
We were down, but it was not over.
It was not over. It was never over. It was we weren't knocked down. We strategically chose a rest is what we did.
Very nice.
But we're back. And I'm happy to be back. I know you're happy to be back.
I'm stoked to be back. I can feel college football in the air. And
yes.
Whew.
Yes, I have started my previews. I have begun to look at the calendar. This past weekend was the first time that on a Saturday I was like, ooh, yeah, I'm itching for it. I'm truly itching for it. This past weekend was the first time I felt that.
I was talking to my old college roommate about that. We were he was going to come out and visit me in LA for a bit, but then he couldn't for work. But while we were talking about it, it was going to be there on that week 1. And we both were just like, man, I'm itching for it.
Yeah, it is really truly. And also,
say what you will about the NFL and the NCAA and college football as an institution, of which we will at many points. But one thing they've really got down to a science is that they've perfectly spaced out the time in between seasons to me.
Yeah,
because after college football and the NFL are done, I'm like, all right, I need a break.
Yeah. I jump straight into Oscar movies once the season ends because I know I got a good, month or so before the award show. And I'm like, all right, I can completely detach from football and I can just dive into the movies I want to see. But now I'm at the point where I've seen Superman. I've seen Fantastic Four. I've seen a bunch of movies this summer. And
have you seen Weapons?
I'm not a horror guy.
Look, neither am I, and I will tell you, it's a terrifying movie. But
okay, you're not helping. You're not making a case.
Here's what I'll say. Whatever you think that movie is about, it's not that.
Okay.
But it's very good. Alden Ehrenreich plays the most depressed man alive in that movie.
I heard that there's now a corollary. When you see Jesse Plemons on screen, you're like, oh boy, what's going to happen? I've heard there's a corollary now with him. It's a similar Jesse Plemons.
He also has a comical mustache. Like it looks great on him, but it's one of those things where I'm like, man, they just don't make him like that anymore.
Oh man. Well, Tyler, they don't make them like they used to in college football either, because we have a ton to talk about. The season is starting up here. Week 0 is this Saturday. We're recording on Monday, August 18th. Week 0, we have an Ireland game, a Big 12 top 25 matchup between Iowa State and Kansas State in Ireland. Hello.
Ridiculous.
And then the weekend after is
you're skipping over the biggest thing that happened in week 0, which is not that. It's that Dan Mullen has returned to college football.
Oh, they play week 0?
UNLV plays Idaho State.
Oh, see, the coach that I associate with UNLV is actually one Tyler K. Williams. So I'm not sure of this whole situation. 10 wins. All right, we get it. Okay. Tyler, I thought today what we could do, first episode back in a while, first time that we've fired up the microphones. I think what we can do is just kind of do a general season preview and go conference by conference. We'll go in alphabetical order because we care about every conference here at Sideline Judgment. And I think that what we can do is talk about each of them, kind of see something that's interesting with each conference. Doesn't have to be, it could be a team, could be a storyline. could be a player, whatever it is that you see fit. We will have one interesting team from each conference. We'll go through them all. And then after that, we'll talk about the Gators because, I mean, the spiritual genesis, the reason this podcast exists is because of our beloved Florida Gators, is because of our beloved hopeful Heisman candidate, DJ Lagway, because of our hopeful coach of the year, Billy Napier, because of our hopeful you and I in South Florida watching the Gators win the Natty, because we're going to somehow, some way scalp tickets and find a way to get in. That is the genesis of this podcast. That is what we will wrap up the episode with. Tyler, are you ready to kind of jump into it and get things going?
I am ready. I like this plan for what we're doing. So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Just a reminder for the lore for those who have not been here. Your brother went to Oklahoma. You're a big Oklahoma side fan. Like you're an Oklahoma adjacent supporter.
Listen, I don't know if I can say that now. That's because remember when this podcast started, Oklahoma was not competing for the same. This wasn't an issue.
You were an Oklahoma recognizer.
I was an Oklahoma acknowledger, correct? Yes.
So on that note, I feel like it is perfect that this is a very overarching preview of the season. And that will be the only time I reference one Arch Manning in this podcast. Perfect, wonderful.
Cards on the table, right? If it's your first time listening, welcome. Second, why? Third, thanks again. But truly, Tyler, his family has season tickets to the Florida Gators. Tyler went to University of Florida, as did I. He is a Gator fan and a Gator family through and through. Me, on the other hand, I grew up going to FAU football games. Go Owls. They are my first college football team that I loved, and I still hold them dear to my heart to this day. I obviously went to the University of Florida, where Tyler and I met and where this podcast originated from. So we are both massive Gator fans. Go Gators. But also, I have an emotional attachment to someone with an emotional attachment to UCF. And actually, since the last time, no, it's not since the last time I recorded. I was engaged last time we recorded. But this is the first football season where I can say that my fiance went to UCF. I wore a UCF t-shirt.
So
and the last no, next year we will start the season as a fiance. Yeah, we will. Yeah, unfortunately, I have a fall wedding. Please email your insults to me directly because I deserve it. I apologize in advance.
The thing about not to derail even further, but the thing about the fall wedding discourse for college football that is the thing to me is that like the reason to be against it is not because of the weekend you spend with your friends getting drunk and kind of maybe missing football games depending on the type of wedding it is. It's not that. It's that now your anniversary is on college football Saturday. That was the issue.
That was what I told Alexa. I was like, Lex, I just want you to know every year, not every year, but at least every 7 years at a minimum, there's going to be a specific game that I associate. No, for the rest of my life, there's a certain team that I associate, and I will have an irrational, we must win this game. Obviously, I want the Gators to win every game, but like my wedding day, we must win that game. Thankfully, it's the week after Georgia, so I know that it's never going to be like that much emotional in that sense. So, but yeah, so those are the teams. Those are the teams that we have a little bit of a not bias, but have our eyes on a little bit closer. So Florida for both of us, and then FAU, UCF, and then as Tyler mentioned, Oklahoma, where my brother went to school.
And to be completely transparent, two of my sisters went to UCF, correct, as well. But that has not really done anything for me.
Yeah, but Tyler,
they don't care about football.
You making fun of UCF does not affect your relationship. So that's where we're at.
It's true.
Love you, Lex. She's definitely not listening, so it's fine. Let's get started, Tyler, with FAU's conference. The newly first time I'm laughing already. This conference was formerly known as the American Athletic Conference and recently underwent an entire rebrand, and now they are just the American Conference, which is so funny because I have always referred to them as the American because I'm not saying AAC because it's too close to ACC.
It's too close to ACC.
I've always said American, and so now we're just calling them what we've always called them? ?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it 100. Didn't know that they had actually rebranded.
You didn't see that? You didn't see the whole
situation?
See this. They have a mascot now.
Oh, come on.
They do. They do.
I mean, the SEC has a mascot too. It's that white woman.
I thought it was the guy, the TikTok guy from Ain't Nothing But the Tide. I thought that was the.
No, it's the white woman who says it just means more.
Way to narrow that one down, Tyler.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Tyler, let's talk about the American. What's one thing that's interesting for you with this conference this year?
The interesting thing with this conference, well, one is that Navy and Army are now both in it, which it's kind of fun.
You think that was why they changed it to just the American Conference? They're like, all right, we got the service academies.
No, but I do like that. I think honestly the most interesting thing about this to me is I think the Rice Owls are very interesting to me because they are bringing over a very unique offense called the wingback.
Yes.
Which I am interested to see its applications at a FBS level. I think that they're kind of an interesting team in that regard to me because, like I said, it's like a lot. Well, like I say a lot with these smaller conferences is that, and part of my favorite thing about college football is play styles. It's the different stylistics aspects of teams. You've got two heavy option teams in Navy and Army, but then you've got this shotgun option team in Rice, and that is kind of an interesting blend to me. That I think of all the teams here, I'm the most interested to watch them. Yeah,
fair.
From two other perspectives, interested in Tulane just because they're clearly, I think, the front runner in this.
Yes,
thing.
unequivocally.
Also interested in UAB because I really want to see it implode.
Well, okay, so that was going to be my first one that I was going to say with UAB. Does Trent Dilfer make it to Thanksgiving? Was my thing, my whole situation.
Well, okay, I have to take that back. That was a gut reaction, no. But I also was a gut reaction, never would have hired him. So I don't know if I can act. Do they have the money to fire him before Thanksgiving? I don't know what UAB's financial situation is.
We are talking about Birmingham, Alabama, which if you've ever followed like TV viewership numbers, Birmingham, Alabama is like, not ironically, but like it's surprising that they're like the number one football market in the country. They like lead every single like the USFL and the XFL and all those like spring leagues. They were like the only market to do like insane numbers, and everyone else is just like super low. So there's interest in football in that city, and don't put it past, football in Alabama, whether it's Auburn, whether it's the University of Alabama, whether it's UAB, somebody's got money and somebody's going to want to change the coach. So could be.
Yeah, but he's not. I don't think he's short of anything like crazy. He's not making it out of the season. No, I don't think so. I don't think he is either.
I also was going to talk about Tulane a little bit. The question there is, what SEC school hires John Summerall? What's going to be my thing there? Because he seems to be number one with a bullet on the dartboard, unequivocally, the option for an SEC team that is, naturally there's SEC jobs that open up every single year. And it's impossible for John Summerall to say no to that, but everyone knows that he's kind of waiting for that kind of role. So what school takes the gamble on John Summerall and wants that style of defense that, he was at Troy before he was at Tulane. And then also subsequently, who does Tulane backfill that role up? Because they've had a lot of great success with coaches down there in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. It's kind of Tulane has been really good. They have Willie Fritz, who's now in Houston, and now they have this. I think I'm going to give you three candidates.
Okay.
Obviously, the main big one is Kentucky because that is the one that's been the most talked about. It seems the most obvious because for all the good that Mark Stoops has done, it seems like that stretch has ran its course.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that he did not take that Texas A&M job like he almost did. I feel like he should have gotten out.
Yeah.
Good for Texas A&M. I mean, like Mike Elko's a great coach, but I feel like if Kentucky opens up, that's the main one. These next two are, I think, better jobs than Kentucky, but their likeliness to open up is less. Auburn is a big one because Auburn is.
Because Hugh Freeze is their coach.
Yeah, I am hearing a lot about how Auburn might be good this year from different podcasts that I've been listening to, and I don't understand what people are talking about. Like,
apparently they had a pretty good transfer class come in, but then also we'll say that for the SEC.
my other thing, well, their whole thing is like, oh, we got Jackson Arnold, and I was just
Well,
like, didn't like Oklahoma just like kick Jackson Arnold out the door?
so
Like,
Jackson Arnold's kind of like saying Beetlejuice around Diego. Don't get him started. Don't
okay,
get him started
okay.
on Jackson.
Well, that's my whole thing. They're like, we've got a quarterback we really like. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not. Yeah.
In their defense, they have not had a good quarterback for years.
And to be fair, Oklahoma's offensive system wasn't great last year, but okay, that actually leads me.
They had no wide receivers, and that's another.
That leads me. That leads me to my third team. If Brent Venables doesn't make it out of this season,
speaking of Oklahoma
might. I mean, I think
he would fit really well. He would do really well in Norman.
My thing with that is that you wouldn't think it because it doesn't fit that southeastern. Shockingly, Oklahoma doesn't fit the southeastern cultural vibe that you would think John Summerall would be associated with. But I think
that's got layers too, because Castiglione, the longtime athletic director at Oklahoma, announced that he's going to be stepping down after this season. And so if that's the case, it would be a new AD that's hiring, a new head coach, and will they want to go defense again?
Well, you have to think that because John Summerall is a very pro offense defensive coach, which to his credit, Brent Venables is too.
Yeah.
I want Brent Venables to succeed. I like him.
Same.
He has done wonders for that defense in Oklahoma. He has actually transformed it from. We all remember what Oklahoma's defense was in the late teens. Or in the entire two teens.
The Alex Grinch era, if you will.
The Alex Grinch era. And like I think it was Mike Stoops before that. So I think that this is all kind of everything with Oklahoma is about we'll talk about this in a little bit. Can John Mateer and I forget the name of the offensive coordinator they brought with him from Washington State. Can that all work? So it's a big gamble. So if that doesn't work and Oklahoma wants to go in a new direction, I think John Summerall, I think I would take that job.
I think it's a good fit. And in typical SEC
I haven't
fashion,
seen anyone else say this, but
it's a good shout. It's a good shout. And in typical SEC fashion, we have turned a segment about the American Conference into the SEC. Just wanted to acknowledge that. Last thing before we move on, I'm interested in Memphis this season because they were trying to get into the Big 12 this offseason. There was a rumor that some big wigs at, I don't know if it's FedEx or other massive companies, but they were committing something like $200 million in advertising money for the Big 12. And the Big 12 said, yeah, we're good. So that's going to be interesting.
I wonder why they did that. I don't get that. I'm just curious.
I think it's one of those things where they wanted to be able to kind of keep up with the Joneses, right? So I just don't know if it'll happen. And then lastly, of course,
I just don't know why the Big 12 said no, but I guess
because they don't want to overinflate what they have.
I guess.
And honestly, they got enough basketball wise, like thinking of other sports.
Good point.
Memphis. Yeah. Anyway. And then of course, my beloved FAU Owls, Zach Kitley, 34 years old, new head coach, bringing some air raid down to Boca Raton, baby. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun in paradise.
I've heard this said in I forget which other podcast it was, but I'm interested to see how this goes for FAU because this is a different style of coach hire than they had been doing. Yes. They had very much been doing these like reclamation projects because it worked with Kiffin, and then it didn't work with Taggart and Herman. I think it worked better with Herman than it did with Taggart. But,
it worked better with Taggart, which is a statement.
Oh, really?
Which is a statement, by the way. That is indicative of the job Tom Herman did at FAU.
But see, that didn't.
Tom Herman lost to Trent Dilfer. Okay.
Yikes. Okay.
Enough.
I think that's a good note to move on.
That's a good note to end on. The ACC. Interesting conference.
Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yes, including notable Atlantic Coast schools like Stanford and Cal. Tyler, what about the ACC? What do you got?
Well, from an interest perspective, I think obviously Clemson, I think, is the forerunner for this team, for this conference. I think Clemson is being billed largely as a national championship level contender this year rather than just a playoff contender. I think that is very warranted. I think the most interesting team, there are two most interesting teams to me. Georgia Tech.
Yes.
And I gotta be honest, North Carolina. Like,
Yeah, man.
and
This
that's
Belichick
not
thing.
on me. Like I'm interested in Georgia Tech because they look fun. Like you got Buster Faulkner, the OC. You've
Mhm.
got like that really fun offensive system. They are the type of team. I use this phrase a lot, but they to me are the team is like Georgia Tech cannot beat everyone, but they can
Mhm.
beat anyone. Like they can, they are not going to go undefeated. But like,
Yeah.
but they can. I truly believe Georgia Tech is the type of team they can beat any team in the country on their day. At least that's what they were last season. Let's see how much they can stretch that this season. I love the job they've done down there, the run the ball mentality, the fun offense, turning kind of Georgia Tech. Remember, like 10 years ago, Georgia Tech was the triple option place,
Yes.
and
Yes.
now it's like got recruiting legs, and it took a while to get here, but it's
Mhm.
like they're upping the talent. They're
Yeah.
that so in many ways they're the team that is like that's a dark horse for the conference title contender.
I love that. I love that mentality. I love that perspective. Because I agree with you. I think Georgia Tech is kind of primed for they can upset people. Here's the thing: the games that they'll win early in the season might be perceived as upsets in the moment, but we might look back on it similar to how we looked back on like Syracuse last year, which is one of mine for that I'm interested. Can Fran Brown recreate the magic that he had in his first season as head coach? They won 10 games last year. It's Syracuse. Syracuse won 10 games last year.
First year on the
First
job,
year.
won 10 games.
So can they repeat that? How's that going to look? Georgia Tech, like you said, I'm in the same boat. Any other teams for you before I kind of list on?
Obviously North Carolina, but that's just a matter. I don't know how good North Carolina will be. I gotta be honest, I am fascinated by how it's gonna go with Bill Belichick at the helm. And like
That is
because like from a watching it perspective, I am truly fascinated by it.
yes. It's funny. My fiance's best friend and a friend of mine as well. She went to North Carolina, and so obviously that is the house I go to. The schools represented in my Saturday college football watching setup is Florida, obviously with myself, UCF with Alexa, my friend Matt, my friend Igor, my brother-in-law Vince also went to Florida, so he's a Gator fan as well, and then Carson went to UNC. So those are the three schools that at the very least we have on every weekend that's in some capacity. So I'm going to get to watch a lot of Bill Belichick this Saturday, on Saturdays this fall. And just from like being able to talk to the girlies, like, did you see what happened with Bill Belichick? Oh my gosh. Like this is the news that I heard about Bill Belichick over the summer, which we have not talked about. And I will guarantee you, we will get to at some point this season, but the Bill Belichick news with whatever her Jordan Hudson, the girl, whatever, I found all of this out through like Alexa's TikTok algorithm and her friends. Like that's how I caught up with these things. And then I went and watched Pablo Torre's incredible podcast episodes on his YouTube channel. Pablo Torre Finds Out. Highly recommended. If you don't know what's going on with that at Bill Belichick, go watch that. Pablo Torre was doing the Lord's work, keeping journalism alive. Highly recommend you go watch that on YouTube. Pablo Torre Finds Out is the name of the page. I think he's hired by the Athletic now coming into this season. So good.
I believe so.
So yeah, North Carolina. I also, speaking of the triangle there in the Carolinas, I'm very curious to see what Manny Diaz does at Duke next year. Truly.
Me too. That was another one that I wanted to bring up because they paid for Darian Mensah and they had a great he had a great season last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm intrigued.
Dude, you remember how last year I told you it was like the Big 12 is the conference I'm most interested in because it was the first year with the new teams and all this, adjustment and Deion Sanders and Shador and Travis Hunter, Jacksonville Jaguar, Travis Hunter, might I say. All those guys, all that storyline, I was most interested. I think the ACC might be the conference that I'm most interested this year from a football perspective. I agree with you with Clemson, front runners, playoff contenders should make interest. We haven't even mentioned Miami,
or Florida State.
Well,
it's just because I am all right.
Oh, that was so petty. No, I know you didn't mean for it to be petty, but it came across so
or
petty.
Florida State, No, we haven't even mentioned Miami. I refuse to take Miami seriously, though.
Okay, but I agree with you from a philosophy and a holistic perspective. What I will take seriously is Miami's offensive line. They're coached by Mario Cristobal. Always has a good O-line. Man can do one thing well, and it is coach up, recruit, and field an incredible O-line. Can they capitalize on that? Who's to say? They had a really good year last year. They went 10-3. They choked down the stretch. but I'm interested to see how they bounce back. I also don't know who the quarterback is. So, oh no, I'm sorry. It is former Georgia. It is.
Yes,
I do know who the quarterback is. It is Carson Beck. So
We'll
maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm
goes.
not as. Maybe I'm
Carson
not
Beck
as.
hasn't. It's so funny. Carson Beck had Brock Bowers and looked like he was a fringe first round quarterback.
There were. Is he the number one overall pick conversations?
Yeah,
had at some point.
And then he didn't have Brock Bowers, and to be fair, Georgia does not have good wide receivers. Like that's to their credit.
Yeah, that's Kirby's Achilles heel. But yeah, tons of schools here: Syracuse, Georgia Tech, Duke, North Carolina, all these schools. So very interested to see how that goes. Speaking of the Big 12 conference, story last year here, Arizona State and Cam Scatterbo made all of us happy and proud. Had a great time.
Cinderella run. Very
good Cinderella run. They opened the season ranked 11th in the AP poll. Oof. But if you watch some of the post-practice press conferences, oh my God, you think that team was going to win?
Get it, Dillingham.
Dillingham does not care.
I love it.
Which is a question, though, right?
How much did they lose? He's doing a Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier's like, our receivers can't catch a cold in the middle of February.
Yep.
But hey, I'm with it. I'm about it. Like,
so that's a thing that we can see there. I don't know if they're going to repeat that.
Yeah.
But what's your Big 12?
I think the most interesting team has got to be Texas Tech. In the
same is it because for some reason they decided to redirect the oil money from other things to the football team?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
Spoiler, I do actually know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay. For those that don't know, Texas Tech landed a massive recruit. Then they landed a massive recruit, like number 2 or 3 overall in the class. They took him from Georgia, the team, and the kid was a Georgia native. Like, that's the kind of situation that they're playing to Lubbock, Texas. So I guess you can cash money anywhere in the country. So
it's true.
But it was a situation there where, Texas Tech. Why are you interested in Texas Tech?
Texas Tech bought like Texas Tech went really hard in the transfer portal. Like
they pulled a Lane Kiffin.
Yes, and it remains to be seen how. It remains to be seen the quality of said additions and whether or not they will feel the cohesive unit. But they have really pushed all their chips to the table, and they're like, we are trying to establish ourselves in this new league. We are trying to change the balance of what Texas Tech has been. To that credit, it's not just that like they're a surprise. They're like a team with potential. It's this push the chips to the middle approach. It's this thing of like, we're gambling. We have spent a lot of money on this because they are having to pay the tax. They're having to pay the Lubbock tax of like, we got to get these recruits to Texas Tech. We got to pay more.
Yeah, and it's not like they're going to Houston or Dallas or Austin or San Antonio. You're going to Lubbock. It's far. It's out there, man. It is. I mean, you've been to New Mexico and in a similar area of the country.
Love New Mexico, but beautiful. It is out in the middle of nowhere.
But if you're 18,
that's part of the
appeal
old, in places like that. But it is true.
Listen, we're in our late 20s. Okay, our appeal for quiet and peacefulness is different than an 18, 19.
It would not have appealed to me as an 18 to 20.
Correct. So,
that being said, I will say, moving on to I think the other most interesting team to me, and because I can't quit them. And you look at me like you know what I'm talking about. You don't know
because you said I can't quit them.
Yeah, it's not Iowa State.
Oh, I was thinking Iowa State. Okay,
I can't quit them. I really do think that TCU is a dark horse to win this conference this year.
Okay, that kind of goes with my point. I only have two things to say about the Big 12. My primary point for the Big 12 is I have no idea who is going to win this conference. This is wide open. Colorado, how are they going to bounce back after losing Shador and
an amazing question.
And your boy? How are they going to do that? Houston, what's going on down there? They're supposed to be really good. They're supposed to have a lot of money. Who knows? The Arizona schools, great seasons, but can they keep it?
Arizona had a crazy season 2 years ago. Arizona State had a great season last year. Arizona's replacing their offensive coordinator. Like, they both have talent.
Is this also the Utah coach's last season? Am I
Supposed to
remembering
be
that
Kyle
correctly?
Whittingham's last season. They took a transfer. They did the John Mateer thing. They took Devon
Uh-huh.
Pierre from New Mexico. Go Lobos. And so that is
Look at
actually
you.
because
Look at
I
you.
just
Look
I
at
just
you.
completed a 9 seasons in an online
Uh-huh.
dynasty as New Mexico. Capped
Okay.
it off with the national championship, by the way.
Mhm.
Devontae Pierre was
I
my
was gonna say
starter for 4 years.
that's a man in love. That's a man in love right there.
Yeah, trying to get the girlfriend points.
Uh-huh.
But him and their offensive coordinator went to Utah.
Mhm.
And they did a lot of that like Tebow Mullen, like quarterback run option
Yeah.
stuff with Devontae Pierre, who his passing is a little limited, but he's an exciting runner. And additionally, I believe also their running back went there. I could be wrong about that. He may have gone somewhere else. But the
Yeah.
point is, that's a revamp. And Utah had a bad season last year, but that was largely because of quarterback injuries.
Mhm.
Now you come at, like Utah at any possible moment can have an 11-win season.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. They have
So,
they have
so there's
arguably the
that.
best coach in the conference. Like,
we haven't even talked about the fact that Scott Frost is back at UCF.
well, that was my second point, and that's what I was going to close the Big 12 section on, because if there's one thing that I know is appointment viewing for Alexa this Saturdays in the fall, it is, when is UCF playing? Because I need to see Scott Frost. You have no idea the emotional investment that the UCF fans have with Scott Frost. It's impressive. I'm not gonna lie. It's impressive how much they're buying into this. I respect it. I respect it, and I'm eager to see how it goes. I'm gonna urge caution. It's not gonna be all go, all gas, no
I think
brakes.
they think it's going to be Mackenzie Milton again.
No, they don't. They don't. Well,
okay, good. Maybe some of them do.
You mean UCF quarterback coach Mackenzie Milton?
Oh, that's a good point.
He did come home.
I wish good things for that man.
I had a good conversation with my buddy Matt.
That magical run, I don't think will ever be truly recreated.
No, never. That'll never happen. But my good friend Matt is my friend Matt is my UCF barometer. Like, I talked to him about UCF to see like where the fan base is. And he was actually, we had this conversation over the weekend. He said he doesn't think it's going to be a immediate the UC fast, right? UC fast, they're all gas, no brakes immediately. But he does think that they're going to be able to maybe, go 500, start to build things back up. And then next year it'll kind of be a step forward is the expectation. But this year, I think that they're kind of they're in a good place mentally. And I think that a 6-7 win season, they'll be happy with. They get to 8, I think they'll be thrilled. So yeah.
I could talk about each one of these teams forever, so we should probably
for real. We'll move forward to
this. You said all that stuff about the ACC, and then I agreed, and now we're actually looking at the Big 12, and I'm like, this is still the most wild conference.
No,
this is the most wide open conference. This is.
I agree with that one. It is the Big 12 is the most wide open, but the ACC to me is the one I'm most interested in, because there's like 3 or 4 teams that could have they're 10, 11 wins. Like, all of a sudden. So I do think that I don't really see a Big 12 team kind of dominating in the way that I see the potential of a few in the ACC.
Well, so that is the problem that this conference is going to have. Arizona State ended up solving it last year, where it was like you had in a conference as chaotic as this.
Yeah.
The issue that you have, and this is actually a problem that the SEC had last year, where it's just like they kind of beat up on each other, and there wasn't like if the SEC didn't have its reputation, I think it's probably would have changed its playoff things, because there was a lot of
100%. 100%. They coasted.
All that's built off the payoff,
of course, and they coasted off of that rep. But
the big question of the Big 12 is there a team amongst them that becomes a crop above the others?
Right. Who's gonna take the crown?
There's a lot of good teams in here.
Yeah.
Is there
a great one?
Is there a great one? So
to the Big 10 we go. This is another interesting one too, because there's a lot. Yeah, for real. There's a lot going on here. There are so many directions we can take this. Tyler, I'll let you go first, and then I'll fill in the gaps.
Oh, gosh. God, what is this?
I literally have like 5 stories I'm interested in.
I
so
can't
much.
Pick which one I want. I think, to be completely honest with you, one of the most interesting things to me is, can Penn State actually do it? Can they finally freaking do it?
Well, they're supposed to be.
Genuinely, that is because Drew Aller stayed. Like, they have, obviously they lost Alfred Carter, but they reload. Like, it's one of the most talented rosters year to year. James Franklin is excellent at building the roster, but they keep they keep doing this. They keep like losing in like critical moments.
Like, can James Franklin win the big one?
Can he do it? Because my thing is that, like, obviously, if you're looking at this conference has several contenders in it for national championship. I don't think Michigan will be that good again, but like Ohio State and Oregon are both contenders, both breaking in new quarterbacks. Washington, USC, like Michigan State, they don't feel very like contender worthy this yet. I could be wrong about that. But that's the thing is, like, it's laid out for Penn State. But can James Franklin actually do it? Can he act? Because I'm a big believer that it's like a lot of coaches get these reputations, and those just matter until they don't. Ryan Day just won a national championship, the one thing that he could never do. And we actually finally got an answer to all those questions about, like, would it be worth it to lose for Michigan for a national championship? Yes, of course it is. And now you did it.
That literally happened.
Literally happened. We've talked about it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's still in love with Dan Lanning, myself included. So no one's really quite asked that question of them yet. Is like, can they get it done? Because they've now not been able to get it done. Mm-hmm. Weirdly, like, no one seems to be having that question about Oregon.
Well, because Oregon, I think we all understand and
the vibes are great.
Not only are the vibes great, Dan Lanning, we all realize is legit, like A1 legit.
Yeah. It helps too that they have lost. So it helps too that with the Bo Nix's final year, they lost to a team that went to the national championship in Washington, who went undefeated on the way there. And then last year, they lost to the team that won the national championship. And there's always kind of this thing of like, they've lost games. They've not made it to the promised land. But, I mean, understandable games to lose.
Of course. Yeah. Like, I'm not getting on their case. Like, again, this is difficult. Only one team can win it all. So it's a hard thing to do. So I'm with you. That was my first crop of questions of national championship contender, the Ohio States, the Oregon, the Penn State. That's my kind of three there. I'm so curious about Indiana and Illinois and what they can do. Illinois is ranked 12th in the preseason poll. And I had to do a double take because I did not realize or think that was something that was there. But then you look at their record, they were 10-3 last year. You know, they went 6-1 at home. They went 6-3 in the conference.
They're returning their quarterback.
It's good, man. It's looking good there. Obviously, we know about Indiana. We had 11-win Indiana last year, and it looks like that has no signs of slowing down and stopping. And I'm really excited to see that.
I hope. I want Kurt Cignetti to like work.
Love Kurt Cignetti, and I think that I think Kurt Cignetti is there for 2 or 3 more seasons, and I think that there is a big time SEC job that will open up then that he will then be going to. Like that is kind of the trajectory I see him at. I think
I hope it's not, and I know I keep saying this school. I hope it's not Auburn because
man, I'm sure coach is going to die.
The insanity down there is just. I know Kurt Cignetti could handle it, but I'm like, please go to a better run.
Yeah, for real
place.
And then Tyler. West of the Rockies, the LA schools, man, your hometown teams, if you will.
Yes, my hometown teams.
Let's start with UCLA and the Nico Iamaleava. Thank you very much, Iamaleava of it all. Is he gonna instantly kind
good?
of? I think he's good.
I'm not willing to say that.
I'm willing to say he's good.
Sorry,
I'm not willing
to say it.
I'm not willing to say he's a top tier quarterback.
I'm willing to say that he is talented because he absolutely is. I'm not yet willing to say he's good, but
go to the Rose Bowl and give us an in-person report. Let us know.
We'll freaking find out.
Let us know. And then, of course, I mean, Lincoln, take a seat. Lincoln, take a seat. Lincoln. Are you all right, buddy? What's going on, Mr. Riley?
Doesn't feel like he is.
What's going on, dude? Are you feeling okay? Because as someone who has gray hairs, I'm starting to see him come in, buddy. Okay, I'm starting to see him come in. What's got you up at night? Okay. The defense significantly improved last year. Now, I will say significantly improved relative to a Lincoln Riley team. Who's their quarterback?
Doesn't help that the offense kind of dropped off a cliff.
And who's their quarterback? They had like 3 guys last year. And are you going to pick someone?
I don't even remember. Like, I know that Miller Moss transferred to Louisville, another team that could be really great this year.
We didn't mention them in the ACC. We love the ACC this year. We love the ACC.
But I was actually surprised by that because I thought Miller Moss was pretty good.
Me too.
Like,
And I was shocked that they made those moves. I guess I didn't watch as much USC as I probably should have last year.
But like, I think it was very clear to me in the little bit I watched that when they moved on from Miller Moss to their other options, it was not that those other options were much better. It was that they were younger. And it gave a lot of people the impression, and I've heard this, and that's what I felt, that it was like, oh, USC starting quarterback is not on their roster for next year. But evidently that is not the case. They didn't get anyone in the portal. I am very curious as to what moving on from Miller Moss, if that was the right decision. So
I agree. And then a couple more things for me. Do you have anything else that we haven't said here?
Well, Washington with Damon Williams.
Well, that's where I was going to go.
Yeah, he's pretty. I am interested in Nebraska and Michigan State. They are both.
I am also interested in them as well.
They're in a particular zone in that I think they both have young quarterbacks who had promising, although I wouldn't say great, first seasons on the job. Aiden Childs at Michigan State and Dylan Raiola at Nebraska. They have coaches that I think we have a proven track record of winning at institutions that have history of winning, but not necessarily all the resources to the big dogs. They're both kind of in an extremely similar spot.
Yeah.
History tells us that one of these teams will not be good. But I'm interested to see who it is because I mean, there's just not enough wins to go around.
And I feel the same way with Wisconsin because I like Luke Fickell and I want him to succeed there. But listen, buddy, you're going into year 3 here and it has not been good the first couple of years.
The thing with Luke Fickell is that Luke Fickell made a bet that at the time that he made it, I think we all were in favor of it, but he made a bet to change the style of offense that Wisconsin runs, that they've been running for years. That bet has not paid off.
In his defense, his quarterback got hurt week 1 or week 2,
agree.
something like that last year.
So 100% agree. It's like he made a gamble. Unfortunately, it needs to start paying off. Like,
yeah.
And
then
that's why you get paid the big money. You got to deal with this.
That's why you get paid that money. And then the last Big Ten topic. Did you see that Iowa's going to have a Heisman winning quarterback this year?
Because he can throw an out route.
Because he can throw an out route, and even more importantly, their editors can slow mo it and make it look even cooler.
I was really expecting when I saw that video, because I saw, you see the comment first, the tweet,
correct,
the words, like, oh my god, I was found as quarterback. I'm like, oh, I'll see what this is, because like it could happen.
Of course.
Then you watch it, I'm like, this is not impressive. Like
it's a 4-yard out. Like, what are we doing? What's going on?
Scramble. Like, that's not impressive to me. I'm sorry.
In Iowa's defense,
I have become the person that scramble plays are cool, but I am not impressed by them in regards to like the quarterback's ability. Like, because to me, I'm like, it's great plays. Those can break open games, but like, brother, that's icing on the cake. Yeah. I need some substance. Not a great metaphor, actually, when you say icing on a cake, because cake itself doesn't have a lot of substance. It's not important.
In Iowa's defense, have they ever seen a quarterback who can do that?
On the other side, maybe.
Lots to watch at the Big Ten this year. Let's move forward, Tyler. Conference USA. This is the most.
Brother,
this is the most 8-year-olds goodie bag conference I think I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
We got some brand new schools that are coming in from FCS. Should they? Probably not, but they're here. Delaware, Kennesaw State,
Missouri State,
Sam Houston,
Kennesaw. I've only been in FCS.
They were in there last year.
Yeah.
Right. They were, but listen, basically it's will anyone contend with Liberty is the only thing I really have here. It sucks. These are all like poorly funded schools.
Here's my only question for this school, for this conference. Why is New Mexico State in this conference and not the Mountain West? I've never understood that. But
listen, man, I don't understand a lot of things with.
I don't understand.
So I'm interested to see how
the next closest team to that. Well, okay, the Texas teams are the next closest teams. UTEP is pretty close, but
yeah, I'm just curious to see how things go. So.
I really don't have a lot to say about this. Like,
I don't either. We rarely talk about Conference USA, and it's because it's like
for a good reason.
Yeah, it's tough, and we are
what's happening in this.
We are whole hog people, but oof.
Jeez.
All right.
Speaking of a conference that we don't talk about very often,
where were you going to go? Because the next thing on my list is FBS Independence.
Fudge.
You know what I have to say about the independents? Nothing. Join a conference, Notre Dame and UConn. Moving forward, the MAC.
Notre Dame will probably be good again.
Can I tell you a quick? Can I? Notre Dame will probably.
They'll probably be good.
Can I tell you a quick Mac story?
Yeah, go ahead.
I purposely not told you this because I was waiting for us to record.
Oh boy.
I was talking to Raul and Diego, my stepdad Raul, my brother Diego. And Raul said, you know, your brother didn't know what the Mac was until like a couple months ago. And I thought he was joking. I was like, oh, that's funny. He goes, no. He like didn't know that conference existed. He would like look at opponents on schedules and go, Bowling Green, what school is this? And I'm like, they're in the MAC. And he just thought that we would say they're in the MAC as a way for us to be like, oh yeah, they're in like the MAC, like a made up kind of thing. Like we were just messing with him. And it was like, no, Diego, these schools are in a conference and the conference is called the MAC. And they're actual football programs that exist. And he's like,
hey,
and he's like, FBS? Like Division One? I'm like, yes, Diego.
Yes.
They're not FCS. No, these are really actual schools. He did not know the MAC existed. It was the funniest thing I've heard.
To his credit, what do we always say about the MAC?
The MAC is
all the teams are the same.
All the teams are the same. They're their own thing.
I have nothing to say about these things.
Neither do I. Okay,
here's what I got. I actually don't have anything. I thought I had something. Toledo will probably be great again.
Yeah, what we always say is pick a MAC school.
I'm rocking with Ohio this year.
Cool. I'm going with Buffalo.
All right, nice.
There we go. The Mountain West. Okay, this is where it gets a little more interesting.
Hell yeah.
So there's a lot of these teams that are going to be leaving the Mountain West and going to the Pac-12, I believe, in 2 years, 1 year.
I think 2 years. No, I don't believe next year. I think
this isn't the last season that they're in. They're in for 2 more seasons, I think. But obviously spearheaded by the big boys, right? Boise State is going over. UNLV is going over. That's why people are kind of. I believe so.
I thought UNLV was like weirdly not going.
This is great podcasting. Mountain West schools leaving.
UNLV is not going.
Mountain West schools leaving. The schools leaving are Boise State, San Diego State. You are right, Tyler. I'm sorry. Boise State,
which is stupid.
Which is dumb.
Why would they not do that?
San Diego State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and Utah State. Their departure will be effective August 1st, 2026. So they will be this will be the last year of them. Huh. Interesting. This will be the last year for them. Wow. There's currently some lawsuits going on because I guess Mountain West is like withholding money from them and they shouldn't be because they still got another year there. I don't know. That's kind of my whole what I'm looking at here is what kind of product are we going to be getting from the Mountain West in the last year before it really is just kind of up in the air. They are also backfilling from other teams. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, they we'll see. We'll see what happens there. That's kind of the realignment thing is really the biggest thing for me for this year.
That's the big thing. I think the question for me, I mean, the most interesting team is UNLV, but that's just because it's Dan Mullen.
That's true. That is true. I do have an interest there.
Well, I mean, but beyond that, it's like Hawaii might not actually be terrible this year. Colorado State has put a lot into their program. We're kind of waiting for that sleeping giant to wake up, which might go into Pac-12 might help.
Yeah.
The real question is, can anyone unseat Boise?
I don't think so.
Well, weirdly, I found out that like you would think Boise State has won the Mountain West more times than it has.
Mm-hmm.
Like it hasn't won them as many times as you would have think.
Well, but in their defense, there were a few years there where like San Diego State and San Jose State and Wyoming,
they've still won it more than everyone else. I want to be very clear. But
they have definitely been the best team in that conference historically and presently, but also at the same time, like there's been some pretty good teams there. San Diego State, San Jose State, UNLV, Wyoming. Those schools all have their Colorado State once or twice. Fresno State. They've had their runs in terms of like being competitive and winning the conference. But again, winning the conference doesn't really make much noise nationally if you're not Boise State. And that's why it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, Hawaii announced that they're going to be building a brand new stadium effective like 2028, 2029.
Nice.
So that's another news there.
I have a soft spot for them.
The Pac-12.
Who doesn't?
I know. The Pac-12 is Oregon State, Washington State. Who do you want this year? I'll take the other one.
I want Washington State this year.
All right, I'll take the Beavers.
Usually an Oregon State guy, but I want Washington State this year.
There we go. All right, Tyler.
Nothing else to say there.
Let's talk about the conference that our favorite team calls home. There's a lot of numbers next to teams here.
Not all of them warranted, in my opinion.
I agree. Why don't you go first? Let me start by asking this before we start. Did you watch the Netflix propaganda machine?
I have not yet because
I watched the Gators
Netflix.
episode. I watched the Gators episode. Has me wanting to run through a wall for DJ Lagway.
Nice.
Has me want to run through a wall for Billy Napier. But again, I was already
what's new,
right? I sledgehammer in hand for 2 years, waiting to run through the wall.
Waiting to bust through.
Literally, it's pretty good. I also watched the one on South Carolina, the first 2 episodes. Big fan of Jakari Sellers. Big fan.
Lenora Sellers.
Lenoris, I said Jakari, sorry. Lenora Sellers. Oh my gosh, big fan. And also, I mean, it's no surprise that Beamer's a really good coach.
Yeah.
It's literally in his blood. It's literally in his blood.
Did you know that listeners, Sergio and I are in the same college football 26 online dynasty. The Pod Bowl, by the way, went to me this year.
It did.
However, did you know that in that the game thinks that South Carolina is going to win the national championship?
Yes.
In the game,
crazy.
South Carolina beat Texas for the national championship, which I would, honestly, I would be okay with that. Well, I would love that because South Carolina is a very interesting team this season. To talk about interesting teams, they're ranked number 13th to start. They're not one of the teams that I think is overrated in that sky. South Carolina is it's a big what if, because it's about what obviously Lenore Sellers is going to develop, but what kind of development is he? He's obviously an electric weapon at the quarterback position. He is a danger. He's an excellent playmaker. Can he play quarterback the way that you need to? Which maybe you don't need to, but I give Shane Beamer a lot of credit because he has truly elevated South Carolina back to where it was in the height of the Spurrier days.
Maybe not there yet.
Well,
but
yeah,
they are.
They are occupying the same niche of like 9-10 win seasons.
I'll tell you this: the annual Clemson game is no longer a
Clemson auto win.
Nope.
And it was like that when Steve Spurrier was there. And I wasn't a huge fan of the Shane Beamer hire when it came out. Not that I thought it would fail, but I didn't really have a lot of I just didn't know that guy. But he has done about as well as I think you can at South Carolina. Is the thing. Because South Carolina is typically limited by their resources comparative to their SEC opponents.
Yeah.
And a 12-team playoff era, that might end up working out for them. Yeah. So that's the real question. They are replacing a lot on the defensive line, which was their strength last year.
Yeah.
They're an interesting team to see how it bounces back from. I think, in my personal opinion, the most interesting team is Oklahoma. I know we've talked about it at length.
Yeah.
Because Oklahoma is the most interesting team to me because they're the biggest gamble. If the John Mateer thing works out, they have, I don't know, I'm not going to say they're going to be old Baker Mayfield level. I don't think that's in the cards.
Right.
But they could seriously complicate the conference picture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like Florida, they have a crazy hard schedule.
Yeah. I mean, every schedule in the SEC is hard. Let's be real.
Sure.
And that's fine. Yeah. It comes with the territory. Yeah, I think what you said about South Carolina is accurate. I agree that Oklahoma is very interesting this year. I also, for me, think another team that I'm really interested in, there's 2. LSU, because the defense improved last year, but it still was not at the level that you need to win a national title. And Nussmeier is supposed to have this godlike season this year, Heisman contender. Is he going to Jaden Daniels take over the game, but the defense is going to let them down situation? I don't know. And also, how much longer I'm not saying that he should be fired because, I mean,
He's been moderately successal there.
He has, but again, LSU fans, LSU administration, the people making the decisions at LSU, not 100% there in terms of patience. So
Brian Kelly has had it's funny because it's kind of exactly like his Notre Dame tenure in that you can't look at what he's done and say he has not won and
been successful.
He has had like last season, which was I believe 8 wins, was his worst season he's had. And he is a Heisman winning quarterback in that time, and a win over Alabama to make the conference championship game.
Yeah.
Now that probably got destroyed by Georgia, but it's not really the point. Oh, actually, no, that is the point. The point is that he has been you can't say he's been unsuccessful at football there. But the problem is that it's kind of there's some empty calories to it. You've had good seasons, but you've not the Heisman was great, but that was also a Heisman that was won on the back of there wasn't a great Heisman contender that year, to be honest with you. Jaden Daniels is a great player. And we both thought it should have gone to Michael Penix, but there was not that's the Heisman winner that year.
Correct. It wasn't unequivocal stamped like it was with Travis Hunter.
Yeah, or Devontae Smith, or Joe Burrow, even
or Christian McCaffrey.
God,
sorry.
Yeah, there's a YouTube account that's been putting out compilations of past football seasons and all the important games throughout the season. 2 hour. I watched one the other day about 2015.
Can you send me that?
I will.
I would love to.
I got real pissed when I kept getting reminded every time a Stanford showed up that I was it was a Christian McCaffrey highlight of him going for 60 yards, and I'm sitting there being and to be fair, Derrick Henry was a great player.
No, listen, it's not that Derrick Henry.
Most years, Derrick Henry would have deserved it.
Right. It was just, oh my gosh. Anyway, LSU was my first, and then Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is fascinating.
The Gators play Ole Miss, and I'll say this when we run through the schedule here in a few minutes, but when the Gators play Ole Miss, it'll be towards the end of the season. It'll be in November for sure. And the question is, are we going to get which Ole Miss team are we getting? Let me rephrase that. Which Lane Kiffin team are we going to be getting? Because it could be anything can happen in that reality. Lane Kiffin in going into Thanksgiving could be undefeated, competing for a national championship, fighting for a bye in the playoffs, whatever. Or he could have won 4 games and lost 3 games by 1 score and have had 2 press conference meltdowns. It could go anyway. It can go anyway. Yeah. I'm very curious to see how that happens.
I don't think barring a complete and total implosion, losing 4-8 season, that Lane Kiffin could get fired.
Right.
But I do really truly feel that this is an in between season, for them. I feel like this is just we just got to get through this one. We just gotta.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you put all your chips in the year before with the portal, and here you are with
those 3 interceptions, and has.
There you go. Also, Texas, can they kind of keep up with that? Or I know you said you weren't going to mention Arch Manning, but I will. Who knows, right? Not who knows. I think we all know he's going to be a really good player, but is it enough? How much did they lose? They lost a lot of good talent from last year. Sark's a great coach. I think what I'm most curious is, and this is no disrespect to Quinn Ewers, but Sark's going to be able to open up the playbook in a way I don't think he's been able to do at Texas yet. Yeah. We're going to be looking at I think your best, if you're looking to watch some film to see how Texas might use and how Sark might use Arch Manning this year, don't go looking at college tape of Sark. Go look at his Falcons tenure as offensive coordinator. He's going to be putting some NFL level schemes in there, and I think that the Manning family, let's just say that they have a lot of influence, and I think that maybe part of the reason he ended up with Sark over at Texas is because they knew that Arch was going to be able to learn actual football and not quote unquote gimmicky college stuff.
And that's actually kind of the funny thing, where it's because the two other alma maters of his uncles, Tennessee and Ole Miss, their offenses are successful, but those are not NFL offenses. Those are gimmick offenses.
Yep.
And they're a little different. Tennessee's offense is truly a gimmick offense.
Yes.
And it's very successful in a lot of ways. So I'm not going to, it produces, I'm not going to belabor the point, but
right.
It is a gimmick offense.
Mm-hmm.
Lane Kiffin's is not so much gimmicky, but Lane Kiffin is like he is scheming things open. Like
Yeah,
he
correct.
is playing puppet master with the team. It is not so much here's an NFL playbook, go and play
Right.
quarterback. Like
And it's not so much here's the call, check down to this. If you see this,
no.
do that. It's not any of that stuff.
But that was my big thing with like that's honestly a big part of the reason that I was very I wasn't big on Jackson Dart was largely because like yeah, he's toolsy, but he's playing in an off like I don't know that Jackson Dart can go through progressions or can like he's point and shooting. And he's got all the talent in the world, but like you just don't know.
You just don't know.
The point being that is the and maybe Lane Kiffin could run a more normal offense with Arch Manning. I don't know. But it was a smart decision to go to Texas because Sark is a legit tactician and scheme mastermind.
Yeah, I agree.
Texas is very interesting because it's one of those things where like they're number one, but I don't know. It's a little different feeling number one than usual to me.
I agree.
Because I think a lot of the teams that made it to the end last season are replacing a lot. Notre Dame, Ohio State, like Georgia, they're replacing a lot. So there's a lot of questions.
Correct.
And Texas has also has questions. I mean, Arch Manning has not played a full season before, but we've seen him a little bit. And I'm actually not an Arch Manning hater. I think
neither am I.
I think he's actually very good.
I agree. I'm nervous for his trip. I'll talk about his trip to Gainesville when we talk about the Gators. But anything else with the SEC, or can we go to our last?
Who do we have to pay to get whatever schedule Missouri is getting?
Dog.
It's Missouri
dog
does not deserve that. Ugh, whatever.
Incredible. Honestly, the disrespect to of them not being ranked is kind of wild. It's one of
those things. Like I'm sure you'll get ranked at some point. You play a soft ass schedule,
right? An SEC team wins 8 games and starts 8-0. They're gonna get ranked. But anyway.
Last couple of rapid fire thoughts from me. I don't think Tennessee should be ranked because I don't think they're gonna be that good this year. But that's
frankly they're 24th, so it's not like they're.
It's a non-committal ranking.
Come on, yeah, really. We historically the 17 to 25 is kind of just like I guess we'll throw these guys in there for a preseason. So.
And other rapid fire thought, we haven't really talked about Alabama at all. And
I'm curious of what that season looks like, how they bounce back because it has not been fun in over at Bryant Denny. So. Interesting. My brother-in-law is going. My brother-in-law is going to the state of Alabama the same weekend as Talladega, the NASCAR race, and Tennessee, Alabama. So he'll be in the state for those two events this coming October. So it'll be interesting.
I'm excited. I'm excited just to see. I just want to see what they look like now because I don't know.
And then we'll talk about the Gators when we get there.
Quickly, I'm excited to see Vanderbilt. I think.
Oh my gosh! Yes. And Pavia got another year, right?
Yeah, he got final year. So
perfect.
I don't think Vanderbilt is gonna do too much this season. They're not gonna take Alabama by surprise, but I'm actually very interested to watch them. They are a fun offense to watch.
Honestly, Tyler, the last conference that we have here, and the only conference that is still structured in an East-West format.
All right.
Sun Belt,
don't make them like that anymore.
Listen,
don't.
Keeping tradition alive. That's what they're doing. What do you got here for the Sun Belt?
What do I got here for the Sun Belt? James Madison is, I think, still the most talented team. I think from a talent composite perspective. I mean, the most interesting thing is what Marshall's going to be doing.
Dude, I know because they ended up they win the conference last year.
I think so. They won the conference, but then the coach left.
They won the conference. They won their last 7 games last year.
And with that, they lost like a crazy amount of people.
They took most of them there.
Yeah, pretty much in almost the entire team.
Yeah.
So
and then the whole app of it all too.
Probably getting some elements of that wrong, but that is an interesting thing to me.
I haven't done as much homework on the Sun Belt, admittedly. I need to do that a little bit more.
These are fun teams, but I don't know that much about them, to be honest.
I also like having a couple conferences each year where I literally go in blind going, all right, what's going to happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that part. So
Butch Jones coaches Arkansas State. I know that.
He does indeed. That's happening. All right, Tyler, let's go ahead and let's get into it. We got maybe about 10 minutes left here, so let's just dedicate this to the Gators. What are you looking forward to with the Florida Gators? What's your expectation? We'll play the schedule game in a minute, but holistically, where are you at?
Okay.
And I also want to know what your dad is thinking as well, because I know he's a season ticket holder.
I think the main question that I'm about to ask is more on my dad's mind than mine, but it is creeped into my mind. Can DJ Lagway stay healthy? That is the main thing that I am concerned. It is preoccupying all of my thoughts. It's not because I am actually. There's a lot of people being like, "Is he going to be ready for week one?" When Billy Napier said he will be ready for week one.
Can confirm he did throw and was QB1 and everything was fine at the start of camp today, at the start of practices. Fall.
It's unfortunate that this offseason has gone the way it has in regards to his throwing and him being able to be involved. There's a small part of me that's like, are they just messing with everyone? I don't think that's true though. And I want to believe it's true. It would be funny. But I think that for me, it's that DJ Leggett got hurt last season. Freak injury happens. I see a friend of mine who's just like, oh, we have a glass cannon QB. It's like, okay, I wouldn't say we don't know that yet. Like Anthony Richardson was a glass cannon, turned out to be a glass cannon QB.
And
incredibly explosive. And has been. Health has been his biggest issue. Availability. We don't know if that's the case for DJ Lagway. He was held out one game after that Georgia game injury, and then he played the rest of the season. And, and he probably wasn't at full capacity, and he looked great. So all of this is to say, if he can remain healthy the whole way, that is the biggest. Because I think this team goes as he goes. I actually have a lot of optimism about this roster. I think Billy Napier has really built up the roster well. He's recruited and developed. But the dearth between what you have in DJ Lagway and whatever I assume the next best quarterback on the roster is pretty wide. I mean, it's the same as if Arch Manning gets injured in week 2 and tears his ACL. It's just
you lose a Heisman contender.
Your expectations for the season change.
Yeah, bro. You lose a Heisman contending quarterback. The step down is not going to be, and it is. I
usually wouldn't, and I typically don't. I usually don't ever want to speculate about season-long injuries. What if they get injured this season? I'm like, you could say that about any player. My only thing is that has been the storyline that has dominated DJ Lagway over the offseason, so we can't not bring it up. It is something that I am a little concerned about. But that is all soreness from an old high school injury. Does it need surgery? No, I think we're rehabbing it. It's one of those things where I don't know if that will actually be a contact injury at all. If that will affect him playing football. We'll find out. That's my biggest question for the season. That's my biggest thing. The other thing is the biggest thing to me that I am there's 2 questions I have about this team. Can the defense continue the trajectory it was on at the end of last season, where all of a sudden they kicked it into gear? The defensive line was playing with its hair on fire. We kept most of those players. And was that just a hot streak, or is that now the reality? And the other one too is there's a lot of receiving talent on this team. Is Billy Napier and that Russ Callaway and that offensive staff, are they going to allow us, assuming DJ Lagway is healthy, are they going to allow the passing game to spread out the defense, use the receiving talent you have? Or are they going to still do a lot of the 12 personnel pistol, play action stuff, which I understand, why, but it does seem like one of those things where it's when you have multiple fast receivers, Dallas Wilson, Trey Wilson, J. Michael Sturdivant, all of these receivers, and you keep living in 12 personnel, I wonder if that is the best use of the team's roster. And I feel like unlocking the high flying potential of the offense is going to be the biggest question of the season, because Billy Napier did not. We've gone about this forever. He did not get an offensive coordinator to come in or relinquish play calling duties. It's his prerogative. It's what he wants to do. I understand that. It's going to need to be better than it has been if we want this team to go as far as we want. What about you?
Completely agree. I think your point about the defense is solid and probably my biggest concern. There have been some injuries lately. I know like Dallas Wilson is hurt his lower body. But again, these are all like minor injuries. There's only a couple, I believe. Uh, what's his name? The freshman running back from last year. Was it Bader? Yeah, Ball. Is he hurt?
I haven't heard that, but they could.
I thought he was, or maybe that was one of those things where he like picked up a knock, right? And then yeah, there's like no clips from like 2 weeks ago. We're good. But can these guys stay healthy as a whole, not just DJ, like everybody? Can everybody stay healthy starting on November 13th with that game at LSU? Because we'll go through the schedule game in a minute, but after that, there really aren't many quote unquote easy games and easy weeks. So that's a concern of mine. The defense, I am hopeful and optimistic that it'll maintain that level of play we saw in the back half of the season. And yeah, offensively, I know we got a good offensive line this year, which is good. Yes. There's some big boys up front.
The question wasn't like the running game, because I actually feel like that will be good. Like we have good running backs, we have good offensive line. I actually have no questions about it.
Like I generally think that this is a playoff caliber team. And I think that this is the coalescence of everything that Billy has been building over the past few years. And I think that finally this is something that we can kind of take to the bank and say, okay, this is your team. This is your squad. Do your thing. Can you succeed? So that's kind of my biggest point there. My biggest, my things that I'm looking out for. Can the team coalesce? Can we stay healthy? Can the defense maintain that standard of play? And I got full faith, man. Like as long as DJ's healthy, though, we got tons of talent at wide receivers. We got a good line. We got good running back depth. Like this is a deep team. And I think that the deeper it goes into the season, the more we're gonna need those depth guys. And I really just think that we're set up and built for success in that front. So I'm really optimistic about the season. I really truly am.
Dude, I'm trying not to be too excited about it, but I'm really optimistic. I think this could be, and if we have DJ Lagway for one more year after this, it's been nice to not have to like. It's been tough to like listen to draft like summer scouting and not hear DJ Lagway be named, because I'm like, he's better than these people. But then you got to remember, time, it's just like, oh, it's nice to not have to worry about that.
And he's got a whole other year. Like I don't know, I'm ready for it. Tyler, do you want to play the game real quick?
Let's play the game.
All right. We start against Long Island University, 7:00 kickoff in the Swamp on August 30th.
Yes, that is a dub.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure we're on the same page. Yes. The following weekend, we play USF, which I didn't mention USF in our American conversation, but I'm very curious to see what they do this year. I don't think that they're going to beat the Gators. I think we just got bigger players than them. Like truly, it's a size thing here. But I do think that they can have a good year in the American, and they might be able to win, 8 or 9 games. So 4:15 kickoff, SEC Network on Saturday, September 6th. That's a dub as well, we believe, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then we travel to LSU. This is the weird thing about this schedule. The Tennessee game that is typically in this early September or in this September slot has been moved to the November slot, and vice versa. The later in the season LSU game is now on Saturday, September 13th. It is a 7:30 kickoff in Death Valley on ABC. I would not be surprised if College Game Day ends up going to this game. So, Tyler, what are your thoughts there?
I think Florida wins. I think
really?
Florida goes in, and the reason I feel that way is that like I think that LSU under Brian Kelly has had a habit of being they get slow starts.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't won an opener since Joe Burrow was on the team.
Oh wow, okay.
Now they typically play like big openers, so
yeah,
I get it, but they're playing Clemson to start.
Oof.
That's the first game. That's their first.
Aren't they? Isn't that at Clemson?
It's at Clemson.
Oof.
It's at the real Death Valley.
Shout out to them for doing a home and home and not sticking this to some NFL stadium. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The home and home's lifeblood. Anyway. Yeah. So I actually feel I feel weirdly good about that game. I feel like we win that one, but yeah, feel free to chime in.
No, I mean, just based on how I feel about the LSU defense, I think we do win that game, and just based on how I feel about our defense, I think we win this game. Like I truly think this Gators team is really good. I think in terms of being safe, I would call it a loss. But again, if we go into Death Valley over there, win a night game, DJ, that is a sign that this team is built for something more. Mm-hmm. So I'm hopeful.
You want to chalk it up as a win or loss?
I'll chalk it up as a win. We'll be optimistic. We'll drink the Kool-Aid. 3-0. The 20th of September, down here in South Florida at Miami. TBD on time and TV, but I'm interested in this game. Very, very interested in this game. I think the Gators win this game.
I think the Gators win this game, but that's largely because, well, Miami's defense was terrible last year. I'm not sure how much better it's going to get this year. Mm-hmm. A large part of the success was because Cam Ward was a maniac and a Heisman level quarterback.
Yeah.
Carson Beck is not that. He's fine, but he's not that. We'll see. I mean, it'll be a big test between their offensive line and our defensive line because our defensive line is two very talented units.
Yeah,
I think we win this though because a large part of Miami's success last year against Florida was because Cam Ward just absolutely went off, and the defense had not found itself yet. And on top of that, our offense had not found itself yet.
I would say this is a completely different team.
Completely different everything.
Yeah, completely different everything. Completely different everything. So I'm with you. So
I'm gonna say
4-0.
4-0.
And then on the 4th of October,
vibes are not gonna be great after this game.
So I've been saying this to my friends down here, Tyler. The Florida Gators are beating the Texas Longhorns. I really think so. I think this is the game that like stamps the here we are. I do, which is why I was a little bit apprehensive about giving the LSU and Miami games both wins, because I do think that after that Texas game, the realism there is that we might go 4-1, but with a win over Texas at home in the swamp. I also want to point out,
nearly as confident.
If you look at the Texas schedule, the first game of the season for Texas is a crazy road game against Ohio State in Columbus, noon kickoff on the 30th of August. There is a world where that is going to be the first real obvious road test for Arch Manning. And then they have like 3 easy games at home. It's like Sam Houston State, an FCS team, like 3 games that they're going to win easily at home. And then they got to go to the swamp. And even if that is a 3:30 kick, I hope it's a night game. I don't know. I don't know how Arch Manning is going to react, being that's not his first real road game, because that Ohio State game is obviously a real road game, but it's a noon kickoff, so it's a little bit different. If it's his first real like nighttime game in the swamp against Texas, Tyler,
it's a good point.
Tyler, Manning has not beaten the Florida Gators, and it ain't going to start this year, my friend.
Okay,
I'll
take it.
I really think we got a shot. So
I applaud your bravado. I do not have the same I do not have the same confidence, only because quarterbacks are washed to me. Our defense has an upper hand from the home field advantage. Their defense is good too, and like all of this stuff, I do feel that Steve Sarkisian is a better head coach than Billy Napier at this current juncture.
I mean, listen, I love Billy, but like that's not a crazy.
That's not even. No. So that makes me feel like it's a Texas thing. But hey, you said that with some gusto, so I
just feel it. It's a gut. It's a gut feeling. But I will be okay with counting it as a loss, because I think we should be responsible.
You said it with your chest, brother. You said it with your chest.
I did say it with the chest, but this is a collaboration here we got going on.
Okay.
So I can chalk it up as an L, but I want everyone to remember this. I believe that. I think the Gators are going to beat Texas. Now, by the time we get to the Miami game, we'll see what happens.
See how we feel about that.
See how we feel about that, but right. I do think that that's the case. We'll chalk it up as a loss.
4-1. Then we're at Texas A&M.
And then in typical Gators fashion, I feel like we lose to A&M on the road.
Okay, so
4-2. We beat Texas. I think we beat Texas, and then I think we go on the road and we lose to A&M the next week.
So is that 4-2 now, or
that would be, if we're counting it as a loss. Well, for me, it would be 4-5 and 1.
5-1?
It's just a matter of, we can do 5-1 if you
Let's
do you
do
think we're
5
gonna
and
beat
1.
A&M?
Let's do 5-1. We'll disagree. We'll disagree about the way the loss.
The Texas schools. Perfect.
Yeah.
Mississippi
we'll split
State
the
at
Texas
home.
schools. Mississippi State at home. Wearing our throwbacks for that, so that's a win.
That's a win. Also, that team is. I just feel bad for them.
6-1.
I really do.
Bye week and then Georgia.
And then Georgia. In the last game at Everbank Field, is it stadium or field?
Field, Everbank.
At Everbank Field.
Actually, no, it's Everbank Stadium.
Everbank Stadium, because there's a 2-year gap while you guys do your renovations.
Which is stupidly not being home and home.
Very dumb. At least it's one in Atlanta and then one in Tampa.
That is nice. I agree, but
better than
it could have been home and home.
I know, so stupid. We should look into going to that. Not the Atlanta one, because that's literally 7 days before I get married.
I'm not doing that.
No. I was thinking of doing that for my bachelor party, and then I kind of casually brought it up to Alexa, and she was like, "When is it?" I was like, "Halloween." She's like, 7 days before we get married. I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "No, absolutely. Are you kidding me? What are you doing?"
Probably smart.
Yeah, but the one in Tampa, that'd be fun.
What do you feel? What do you feel about this game?
I think we beat Georgia.
Oh,
I think we beat Georgia last year if DJ is hurt.
I agree. I fully agree with you.
And I think this is a better team. And I think that the recruiting class this year is a great addition. And I think that Georgia, we don't know what's going on with them right now. Who's playing quarterback? Do they have wide receivers? We know defensively they're going to be great because it's Kirby Smart and he's a defensive mastermind. We know that they're going to be great in the trenches with, their offensive line as well and their defensive front. But I feel like I know what I'm getting out of the Gators. I don't know what I'm getting out of Georgia. And if we're going off of last year's game as well, where we dominated until DJ got hurt, who's to say? I think we win. Truly. I think we win.
Okay.
I said this is a playoff team.
I'm not against this.
A team that beats LSU and Miami on the road, beats Texas at home, and beats Georgia is making the playoff.
Yeah.
Unequivocally. Not unequivocally, but they're making playoffs, I feel like. So.
Yeah. 7-1. I'm with you. I think we beat Georgia as well. If Georgia is what I think they are. My thing is that I am not sure how good Gunnar Stockton is going to be. He seems very Stetson Bennett to me, which has worked out for them before, but Stetson Bennett has a certain playmaker attitude to them that I'm not sure if I've seen out of Gunnar Stockton.
True.
So we'll see. At Kentucky, I think that's a win.
That's a dub season.
8-1. Season. At Ole Miss.
See, that's one of those. What Ole Miss are we going to get? Or which Lane Kiffin are we getting?
I feel the same way about Tennessee the next week, where I'm
same.
I'm willing to chalk this up as a loss.
I am as well because
I'm willing to. I just don't feel like we go 11-1. I just can't. I just don't.
No. And the Gators have never gotten.
Our schedule is very front loaded in regards to the harder games.
Correct.
I think that this is I think it's this is an 8-2 situation at the end of this. So
okay, perfect. 8-2
only because Tennessee is next, and we are playing Tennessee in the Swamp. And I'm sorry, it's not happening.
Tyler, this podcast was literally created on the back of a Tennessee loss in the Swamp.
No, we won. No, we won in the Swamp.
No, like Tennessee losing in the Swamp. Sorry, not a Gators loss. Tennessee losing in the Swamp. Yes,
a Gators win over Tennessee in the Swamp.
Correct.
Yes. I'm. There's nothing you couldn't pay me to make Tennessee in this moment.
So 9-2.
9-2.
And then, if we lose,
I think we're beating Florida State at home.
Okay, thank you very much. I just don't want to even put it out there.
So 10-2. I'm 10-2.
That's a playoff.
I feel that is absolutely a playoff team. I do personally feel
that might be a conference championship appearance.
Possibly.
Especially if we beat Texas and Georgia and LSU.
Possibly.
We might have the better strength of schedule.
I truly think this is one of those. Florida's one of those teams that's very volatile this season because it's really just there's a lot of questions about how well this can all stick together.
It's a matter about your belief in the team. Truly. Yeah. Do you think that's going to happen?
I believe that it's all. I believe that this is all on the table for this team. I do think anything less than 9 wins is a disappointment to me.
I think
Pending injuries and pending qualifying stuff. I believe if you go 8-4, I don't know. I feel like this is a 9-win team.
Okay.
I'm saying this is a 9-win minimum team to me.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that. My threshold was going to be 8, but I honestly not really. I think I'm with you. 9 is probably where we're at. And I think if we go 9-3, let's say from the losses we had, we just tack on a Texas or a Georgia, one of the two. Probably Texas more likely than Georgia, in my opinion. I'm cool with that. I like that. This is the most optimistic I've been in for a Gator season in a long time.
I think
time.
we could be really good this season.
I agree.
The funny thing is that like the Kyle Trask go off 2020 season, I like weirdly wasn't as confident as I
wasn't.
This season.
No,
because I was like,
not.
We'll be good. And then we just turned out to the offense came out firing. I was like, I knew we'd be good, but
we didn't have a defense that year, so we literally had to outscore.
The taste quickly soured, but But this is one of those things. Like I feel pretty optimistic that, and especially in a 12-team playoff era, I feel optimistic this team could make it. I think a 9-3. We are admittedly on the much more positive side of this than I think a lot of people.
I think 9-3 with this schedule, you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, oh my God, what a hard schedule, and then go 9-3 and then be like, but was it? It's like, dude, we've been talking about this like this schedule as if it's the worst thing in the world, and here we are,
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard schedule. It's undoubtedly a hard schedule. But sure. I do feel that Florida is good enough to beat all these teams.
Agreed.
The question is really just if they do, the wear and tear.
Yeah.
At LSU, at Miami, Texas luckily there's a bye week in between that. There's a
bye week between Miami and Texas.
Luckily,
which if you're gonna put a bye week, the schedule is split up into 3 different sections: the 2 home games, warm-ups, the 2 road tests, one of which is actually still in state. So and that crowd will be like 50-50 Florida, Miami. I guarantee you. I hopefully will be in that crowd. But
nice,
yeah. A bye week, and then you have this like tough situation going on where you got Texas, A&M. You get a little bit of a break with Mississippi State at home, and then you got a bye week in Georgia. And then the final stretch there, Kentucky, Mississippi on the road, Tennessee, and then Florida.
All teams that I think Florida is better than.
Agreed. I think Florida is better than every team on this schedule with the exception of Texas. Let me rephrase this. I think Florida is better than every team on this schedule conventionally than Texas, Georgia. You can tell me that Florida's the only team's better than Florida. There we go. Jeez, sorry, it's 10 p.m. The only teams better than Florida on this schedule you can make an argument for are Texas, Georgia.
I'd say maybe LSU. I don't believe that Miami is a better team.
I was going to say maybe Miami. I don't believe LSU. I haven't seen enough. I haven't seen enough from Brian Kelly defensively to think that they have an answer for DJ and Dallas Wilson and Trey Wilson. You know what I mean? Like all these weapons. I don't know if they can cover them all. Maybe they can shut down some guys, but I just think that we're too deep there. And I think our offensive line is good enough to, not bully, but play against that defensive front. And I think Miami, that's a situation where, I don't know. I don't fear Carson Beck. So like,
I don't fear Carson Beck either. Without Brock Bowers, I don't fear him without Brock Bowers. No. Anyway, so 10-2. That is the game.
10-2. I think that's where we're landing. I think that's where we're landing.
Boy, we are on the positive side.
We are. We really are.
I do think this team could be really good.
Listen, you look back at our previous years doing this, the last 3-4 years, it's all been like, we were like, if we can get to 7, 8 would be amazing. Like we had a great year last year, all things considered. It didn't start that way. I'll tell you, I watched that Miami game in the Keys with a bunch of people. They were like, damn, sorry, Serge. And I was like, oh boy.
Honestly, that wasn't nearly as demoralizing as the Texas A&M game 2 weeks after.
All right. We don't have to go there. We don't.
That was the one where I was like, oh, ugh.
Yeah.
We actually, Billy Napier almost got fired.
Yep, he did almost get fired.
Shocking he didn't. I'm glad that he didn't. If that means that this team sticks together and has the ability to move forward like this, and we keep DJ Lagway, I'm hoping for the best. But again, for weirdly, he still does have a lot to prove. So, gotta prove he's still on the upward trajectory.
Agreed. I think it's the year. I think it's the year he does that. So, Tyler, I do think this is the year that we are back, though. So we can go ahead and continue to pod a little bit here. The release schedule, I mean, we can't really commit to anything in terms of
cannot.
Going
That's
on
not
there.
how our lives work at the moment.
Not at all. But we are going to keep this going. So we are going to make sure we're there. Let's try and schedule at the very least, trying to check in after the first game. All right, at the latest, after the first Gator game, we'll see what happens.
Maybe even before.
Well, maybe even before. Exactly. To preview a few more things. So
keep you guys on your toes.
Exactly.
Like an Engage 8. You never know when it's done.
All right, Tyler. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Nothing. Just good to be back. Ninth season potting with you, my guy.
Yes, sir.
I'm excited for this college football season. I like I said, football has figured it out where I'm just itching. I'm itching for football at just the right time.
Me too. I got a busy weekend. I got to take care of some wedding related things Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to do some catching up on week 0. But after that, it's the best weekend of the year. It's Labor Day weekend. It's week 1. It's college football all the time, baby. We got a lot to go there. We got a lot to go. All right, Tyler. That's going to be it for this episode of Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And Tyler, we are not biased, but go 10-2 Gators.
Go 10-2 Gators.